What's up? Hey, so I just wanted to sit down and film a video, talk about my thoughts about yesterday because it's just been on my mind and I've been wanting to just kind of get my thoughts out there, cement them for all of time so I could look back later and be like, yeah, that's how I felt at the time. I just got back from the gym, so I'm kind of sweaty, gross. It's like 90 something degrees here in Western Pennsylvania. We're gonna have a little bit of whiskey with us tonight, courtesy of Kirkland, the blended Scotch whiskey. Let's see if we can see that. We can zoom in. Yep, from Kirkland. We got a big old handle for that. It's pretty good. It's a sipper for sure. Like all whiskey to me is pretty much sipper. I don't really drink whiskey a lot, but I like to have it on occasion. I feel like tonight's a good enough occasion to have it. This is this one glass is probably all I'm gonna have, but yeah. Got some talking points that I printed up here too, just to keep my thoughts straight because I tend to ramble. But hey, let's get into it. So, first of all, just know that what I'm about to say, it doesn't apply. I don't think people online should be saying this about all liberals or using the guy yesterday as an excuse to tar all liberals with that same brush, because it's not fair. I know too many liberals in my life who are just genuinely awesome, loving, kind people to do that. But most of the liberals that I know and am friends with, to be fair, they're not far left. They don't celebrate pronouns. They're not the types to be like, I can't wait to take my kid to drag queen story hour. Like they're pretty sensical and even keeled when it comes to most things. But it's wild. It's so crazy how politics have become, and it's really, to me, like it's ruined like actual relationships with some of my family members. Like they're so far gone. Like I'm sure if my brother ever sees this, hi Sean. People like him are just gone. Like they're so in the sauce that they can't see anything outside of it. To them, they look at things in absolutes. Everything to them is you're either pro or against. You're either on my team or you're not. Very black and white mindset, and that's just, I never want to live that way. I don't want to be that guy. I've been from too many walks of life. I grew up in the military. I have rich, very well-off friends. I have middle class friends as well. I've got lower rung of society friends. A lot of people that I even work with, they're struggling. So I don't know. I can empathize with so many different people. I do have my lines, obviously. Like there's again with like DEI and like let's just open the border to everybody and tax the rich, but like they don't actually have a plan for any of this, and they don't understand how taxes work, especially in how tax brackets work. And anyway, you get into these conversations with people and you kind of find out, they just are repeating things that some vapid late night talk show host told them, and they think that they're witty because they've repeated the line. Repeat the line. But yeah, so yesterday was wild. I was at a barbecue / cookout, whatever you want to call it, to hang out with some friends, bonfire sort of thing, because every year we celebrate the 4th of July together, and we didn't quite get to do it on the week of the 4th because a lot of our friends were off on like vacation, so they were like, when we'll do it the Saturday we came back. So it was this Saturday we decided to have our little cookout, and the whole talk of the night, a lot of us were on our phones, just like, I can't believe this is happening. The assassination attempt on former President Trump, right in our backyard, where that happened in Butler. That's a 25-minute drive from where we were, like maybe 30. I mean, it's nuts. Like I can't. The guy who tried to kill him, this 20-year-old loser, was from Bethel Park. So he's also a local kid. Just insane. Yeah, so we were all grilling out and having hot dogs, and it turns out the left had hired an assassin from Temu. I saw. That's not my joke, by the way. That was white people humor on Instagram. He's great. He makes fun of everybody. You should go follow him. He's funny as shit. But I saw that and I was like, that's a good T-shirt quote. You know, the left have hired their assassins from Temu. And knowing a lot of leftists that I know who buy a lot of stuff from Temu, it's like, it all lines up. We get all of our stuff from China. We love it. Yeah, it's wild. You know, it's funny because it's like, I guess, it could have easily have been that was just this, him, he was just some indoctrinated kid who heard one too many, posts on social media, or he's watching these late night talk show hosts and CNN and who fucking knows what else, MSNBC, and just absorbing all of this and all this. It's COVID was a perfect encapsulation of the type of leftist that I'm talking about. That like a lot of my leftist friends aren't. Like these people who were just so in fear and they wanted to take every opportunity to other somebody else who didn't just immediately agree with them. These people are just so venomous now. And I don't know what the hell happened. It's like 2013 happened. Is it just me? But like 2013, 2014 happened. And for me, I've said this before, it was Gamergate that kind of got me to become more right-leaning. Once I saw the real way that institutionalized liberals actually behaved. But it was like a portal that everybody went through 2013, 2014, and everyone just became hard left or hard right. The kind of people that I see myself as more, middle of the road. Now I would consider myself right of center, but I have some liberal values too. We're the crazy ones now because the Overton window has just done this, and you're either on Team Red or Team Blue, and it's so fucking vile now. I don't know. And I'm going to be honest, a lot of that nastiness comes from leftist media sources, and I'm not even trying to be partisan. I'm sitting back and looking at the sources of news that come to me. If you watch, like yesterday, for example, when CNN were covering what was going on, the very first headline that they used was Trump falls on stage, because they're looking for that own. They're trying to gotcha, because you made fun of our guy, so we're going to do it to you. And it's like this, it's just one-upsmanship over and over again. And it's just, to me, it's so fucking lame, because it's like, wait until you figure out what's happening before you run a new ticker at the bottom. But that guy's in the booth and he just couldn't wait. Like, I can't wait. These fucking MAGA tards are gonna be so mad. It's pathetic. That kind of shit to me is so sad. But yeah, was anyone really surprised by this? Because I know talking with a lot of my friends, we always said that there was like a 50-50 chance of this actually happening. Just because we saw the way that the left were tuning up, the psychopathy. Like they've just gone so far to one side, and I don't even know why. Because all this stuff about Trump, it's like you people have made most of this shit up in your mind. What did he do effectively that has made your lives so difficult? It's like, it's all these people who constantly say, I'm going to move to Canada, and I just can't stand this place. And every time they see an American flag, they wince, and it's like, I can't even, why are you wearing that? Why are you so proud to be an American? Because I like the melting pot that we are. Because we are dysfunctional. Because we were literally formed on dysfunction. That's what makes us so fucking cool. We're not the EU or fucking these cucks from Canada, we literally are. Let's see how all of this shit fits together. And I have my stances about how much multiculturalism has failed, especially when it comes to economic policies, and even in some ways social policies. But I digress. It's wild. Yeah, everyone suspected that this was going to happen at some point. I don't think anyone was surprised by it. I think the mainstream media, it has, all of its allies in the deep state and the tech industry. Hi Zuckerberg. All of their friends, who celebrate or ratcheted this rhetoric up. It's like what did you think was going to happen? You spent how many years saying he's literally Hitler and you didn't see this coming? And I see people online, all these liberals who are suddenly like, they're so surprised. And it's like, what do you mean you're surprised? Like, have you seen MSNBC or CNN or like the Young Turks back when Trump was first elected? It's so funny, by the way, weird aside, of watching Anna Kasparian's evolution. I love it. I love when people come to their senses. I'm a big fan of that. When I get to sit by and see the moment that their eyes awaken and they're like, oh, wait a minute. What the fuck am I surrounded by? What if my ideas gotten me into? I love that. It's mwah, chef's kiss. Absolutely. But yeah, Trump, you think that they're going after him because they're worried about the common man? They're worried about you? They're not worried about you. They don't give a shit about you. They care because Trump is a threat to the order that they've established. Because he stands for something that is outside of the country golf club, in group, the incestuous, hell spawn that is DC. He has his own sort of in groups and stuff, and you can judge them based on that. But I don't think anyone can deny that he's not a Washington guy. Clearly, I mean, fuck. They threw everything they could at him. They've tried. They tried to take one case of something that was kind of, sort of impropriety, and they blew it up into 34 cases. It's like, come on. Everyone with a brain knew what was going on, too. And it's funny to me, too, is they accuse Trump of, if he gets in power, he's going to take away all your rights, he's going to imprison all of his political enemies, he's going to become a demon. It's so funny. They do this, they're literally doing that under Biden, and am I taking crazy pills? You guys are actually doing this stuff you're accusing him of, but you're saying when he gets in power, he's gonna do it to everybody. It's we're not stupid. This is what kills me. It's liberals think that the people who are voting for Trump are these hyper far right, xenophobic, racist, istphobe, whatever type people. It couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, you have elements of radicalism across the entire political spectrum, but all of the sort of quote-unquote MAGA Republicans that I know, who branched off from the Tea Party, by the way, they just hate big government. They want more protectionist policies. They want more pro-American policies. They want less interventionism. They want less wars. These were a lot of these were liberal positions in the 90s and early 2000s, especially under the Bush era. And then something happened. Like I said, 2013, 2014, everything just flipped on its head. Whew. Whew. I don't know, man. It's wild. It's wild for me. It's because it's as much as you might not like him, DC and the tech industry and the deep state, they hate him way more. Way fucking more. It's not even a comparable analogy. You might not like him because he makes mean tweets. And, look how much about himself he is. I don't know anybody else like that in real life who has run for office. It's other people have disguised it better, maybe, but they're all like this. What do you mean? You don't think Gavin Newsom sits there and stares at himself in the mirror for 30 minutes before he leaves for his day? Because I guarantee you he does once he zippers up his fucking skin suit. I don't know. It turns out that when you pay enough late night talk show hosts and movie stars to declare that Caesar is a threat to the Senate, something like this is going to happen. Obviously, it's going to happen. It makes me so fucking sad. Someone lost their life yesterday. Another person got critically injured, and I've heard that they're recovering, but someone died. An innocent bystander who was just there at a rally. There's I don't know if you've ever been to a political rally before, but it's like grilling out. People are just high-fiving and they're complaining about the other side. They make jokes at the other side's expense. This is what every political rally is, by the way. There's people donate and it's just such a milquetoast outing. Everyone makes it sound like it's this. I think in their head, especially with Trump, they picture scenes from the Third Reich. That all of these people that are pro-Trump are just lined up beside and they just can't wait to salute him. And, you hear that, You know, there's some like German Nazi music playing, and it's because this is the boogeyman that they've built him up to be. You know, it's like, even though I don't like Biden and I'm like really anti the modern progressive, I don't think any of them are Hitler. Like, I don't think any of them are like the Antichrist or anything. Well, maybe Gavin Newsom, but you know, like, I don't wish death on any of them. I don't want any of them shot. Challenge these fuckers in the arena of ideas. Put their rhetoric up against common sense and facts, and just see how it all works out. Let the best idea win. That's the way it should be. You know, violence and war, like, I'm so against that unless it's a last resort. Unless I'm being invaded, you know, my family is in danger or jeopardy, or myself, I'm in danger or jeopardy, and it's a last possible option. This is why I have firearms training. You know? Which, speaking of, like, oof, how embarrassing. How embarrassing. You have a fucking scoped out AR and you couldn't make a 130-yard shot. That's sad. That's pathetic. This is why everyone's saying, you know, the left ordered their fucking assassin from Temu, because it's like, if you've ever been to a shooting range, firing range, you know, gun range, making that kind of shot with an AR isn't that difficult. I mean, and the weather that we had yesterday was perfect. You know, it was like 80, 90 degrees, clear skies, you know, very light breeze on the wind. You know, his adrenaline was just going, like, Trump! Yeah, you could just tell he just lost it, and he fucking choked. And how sad. This kid was 20 years old. He had his whole life ahead of him, but the last, I don't know, what, 5, 6, 7 years of his life, he's just been programmed by all of these people to think that Trump is literally the coming of the Antichrist. Like, it's just, that's, to me, is so pathetic, and it's so sad that you've attached yourself so much to these political ideas that you're willing to do something like that. Like, you're pathetic. You're pathetic if you do something like that. You're lower than low. You deserve to be mocked openly and people to spit on your grave. I don't even want people to put his name on their gravestone. Like, and all you can do is look at the parents and be like, you know, what were the parents like? You know, what was his home life like? What kind of friends did he have? Did he have friends? Probably not if he was this far gone into politics. You know. It's like, you know, a bit of an aside, like, there's a lot of these, you know, a lot of the boomers that I know, like, they just have no idea how online is. They don't know how sequestered and, like, hug box and echo chambery online is for all political stances and views. Like, you know, the left, it's like you go into certain groups, you know, certain demos, like, you know, the furry community, you know, there's, you know, some parts of the gaming community, although I would say more central to right-leaning voices have far overtaken that lately. But you have these echo chambers, you know, Reddit, where these people just don't see common sense and they don't want to meet anyone in the middle. Compromise is out the window. Which is wild, because, like, I compromise on shit daily with everybody I know. I mean, you don't think I don't want to haul off and punch a great many people that I interact with on a daily basis? I do, but, like, I'm a well-adjusted member of society, you know? My mom raised me right. Like, I know the difference between right and wrong. I know that I'm stronger than most people, and I know that I have an advantage that most people don't have, and I'm conscious of that, and I don't take it for granted in any capacity. You know, my friend group is a pretty constellation of a big constellation of backgrounds, and my whole life is a constellation of backgrounds. I grew up in the military. I've lived in like 12 different states. I was born in Cuba. I mean, I've been friends with every person of every color and stripe in my entire life. One of my best friends growing up was a Filipino. His name's Edward. I don't know if he'll ever see something like this, but Edward, I miss you so much, man. We had such great times playing Marvel vs. Capcom back in the day. I miss you like hell, dude. But he was Filipino, and he was just one of the nicest guys in the world. I don't know, man. It's just sad. It's sad what everything's come to. You know, it's like, back to the kid, who was 20. I remember myself when I was 20 years old. Do you? I mean, I'm 38 now, and I'm far enough removed from 20 to know I was cringe at 20 years old. The things that I thought when I was 20, it's like I thought I had it all figured out, and like, oh, the world is this way. It's very black and white. I've got members of my family that think like this. You're either with me or against me. My team and their team. I just don't have. I don't know. Even like I love sports, hockey and football mostly. But like, even with that, I don't have like a hatred for other fans of other teams. Like maybe that's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a normal guy. But like, I like the fun of it. I like the the challenge. Yeah, my team won. I get into it. But like, that's just another guy who lives in another city who had a different lifestyle who likes another team. Like I don't hate that guy. It's the same thing I view with politics. Like. That guy probably came to his own conclusions about things. I disagree with him. It's the same way I disagree with him about, why he likes the Dallas Cowboys. Some people just can't win, and they, just haven't done anything since the 90s. That's good. Distilled and matured in Scotland. What is this, 49? No, 40%. 40%. Man, I've been off, weird tangent, but I've been off alcohol for a few months because of some medical stuff I've got going. Basically, I have GERDs. It's not like a big deal, but I get like bad acid reflux that like sends weird signals to my brain and all this crazy shit. I thought I was having heart attacks for the longest time. No, it just turns out my stomach's insane. So while I've been on some medications, I've been away from alcohol. This is probably the first sip of alcohol I've had in like 2 months, maybe 3 months. So... and where I'm going with that by mentioning the 40% is like I'm feeling it, Mr. Krabs, and I've only had like maybe 5 sips of this. Yes, I know, I am weak, but it's for a good reason. I promise I'm not pussing out just because. But anyway, yeah, people just need to learn to unplug. People need to go touch grass in like the most honest way. They need to go touch grass. They need to talk to people that aren't them. They need to stop just being in their own headspace. They need to listen to other opinions, take it in, be objective, try to be as critical as you can of what you hear. Don't just take everything at face value. I mean, I try to do this about everything that I hear. Even though ideologically I might be against liberals in very many ways, I still, I'm willing to listen. I'll hear you out. If you can reason me into how you've reasoned yourself into it, then I could at least see your point and meet you halfway on something. But I know so many people nowadays that don't do this. They just don't. I don't know. I just feel like you're missing out on a lot if you do that. If you just make yourself and put yourself and only your friends into this tiny little hug box, I don't know. That sounds boring to me. It sounds like you're missing out on a lot in life. You're missing chances for your brain to grow, for you to grow as a person, for your horizons to stretch. You're missing out. And I think back to when I was 20 and I was just like, I'm only ever going to wear trench coats and Doc Martens and I'm only going to listen to metal forever. Now, metal is still my bread and butter 100%, but I've branched out. I've got some country music songs on my playlist now. Yeah, I know. I'm a big Brooks and Dunn fan, turns out. People aren't like that anymore. I don't know what it is. People are just not like this. Now my friends are. A lot of the people probably watching this who are my friends, they are. They're very open-minded in a lot of ways. Some of my friends, I would consider my friends, they're probably a little bit more closed off to some things than others, but so am I. And we know that about each other. So I don't know. I don't hate them for it. I'll still cuddle with them on the couch. It's like, there's too many stories to tell. But I don't know. People need to chill. People need to calm down. Trump is not going to end your life if he gets elected. You went through 4 years of him already. What happened? What changed? How did your life get worse? I went through 4 years of Biden. Did my life any worse off than it is now? No, not functionally. I think the immigration's immigration and inflation. Let's be honest. Take all the dumb shit that I hate, like DEI, which, by the way, random tangent about that. Ben Shapiro made a great point about this. did you see the female security guards that Trump had with him, like those 5'5" women that were trying to guard him, and like the one girl, she didn't know how to get her gun back in the holster. Now, in fairness, she probably just had a bunch of adrenaline going, and that's the first time it's ever happened to her. And I think probably none of those people ever saw this coming. So again, I'm being fair here. I'm not gonna blame her entirely for her ineptitude, but there was definitely some ineptitude going on. And if you saw, what's her name, Katie Smith, I forget her name, the girl, the head of the Secret Service, she had said in a prior interview that she wants to get the Secret Service to 30% representation of women. And it's like when you set out to demand that your company, let's put it in terms of economics, it must consist of this many people of color, of sexual orientation, of gender, you are setting yourself up for failure, because you're not getting just the best people. Literally, you're saying, I'm going to exclude the best candidate who happens to be male because they're male, because I need to fill a checkbox. I'm going to get a bonus if I have this many of this whatever demographic in my workforce. And that's just, I really wish more people would see how insane that is. Imagine if imagine the world's about to end, right? And we need scientists to build us space shuttles to allow us to live in space for an extended period of time. And we have said, well, the scientists that are making these ships, we need to have an equal representation of, black one-armed lesbians in order to. It's like, what are we doing? Like, it's like the premise is fine. Like, yeah, we should have some more representation in things that make sense, where it makes sense, but not at the expense of qualification. Like, what are we doing? You have these women that were guarding him that couldn't even cover up to his neck. Like, what? I mean, that's a whole nother topic of, like, God, how did they not? It's the 100 yards away, these roofs. And I read some article today that the Secret Service said that they had cleared that area. What does that even mean, you've cleared it? You didn't have people posted there, clearly. Well, I mean, one of the most controversial people in the world is going to show up in your small town, and you're not even going to bother to put people on the roof over there? I don't know. This is what makes some conspiracy theorists think that it was an inside job, is because there's just so much ineptitude. But also, it's like, don't attribute to malice that which can be attributed to stupidity, because, like, let's be honest, if your workforce is basically consisting of people hired based on checkbox requirements, you're not getting the most brilliant minds that are setting this up, okay? And also, like, huge shout out to the morons over in the Butler Police Department for all ignoring the cries from those onlookers saying, there's a guy on the roof, he's got a gun, what are we doing, why are we ignoring him? And then, like, nothing happened. And apparently that was like, I don't know how much of a window there was between when that happened and the shots, but I saw another video where it was like they were yelling at that guy on the roof like seconds before he opened fire. But the other guy on TV said that he told the police and the Secret Service about him like 5 minutes before anything even happened. So this is the kind of stuff that makes conspiracy nuts go, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. I don't have all the facts. But I can see where they're coming from, people who are making those claims. I genuinely think it was just some psychopath who bought into too much rhetoric. He drank too much Kool-Aid. No friends. He probably didn't know how to interact with humankind outside of whatever hug box he was in. I don't know. Too much affirmation from people that were telling him, yeah, all the things he thinks are the correct things. It's like, I don't know. It's wild. I know this video's been like almost a half hour now, and that's probably where I'm going to end it. But I just wanted to pop in and say hi real quick. I know I haven't uploaded anything to this channel in quite a long time, and this channel's probably going to be, I'm going to cut it off, probably. This might even be the last video that goes up on there. I don't know. But I want to start a different channel that's just focused on gaming. And then, or maybe I might even just leave this channel to be my rant channel. Maybe that's the plan. I'll just leave this where I dump my, my word salad for the day and just leave it at that. That way, because it is cathartic to get these kind of thoughts out there. So, but anyways, thanks for listening to me ramble. Guys, be kind. And I know it's such a trite thing to say. People just say that now, I think, but like, I really mean that. Like, you're only here for so long. Again, another trite thing to say, but it's true. It is true. You only have so much time here. Don't waste it being consumed by politics all the time. There's a whole world out there to see and live, and experiences to have, and people to meet. It's like, you can't, don't let yourself just become some prop, some stooge for a political party. I look back when I was 20, when I was in the Democrat Party, and like, I cringe. At the time it made sense because Bush was fucking cringe. And in the Bush era was cringe. The Patriot Act, are you kidding me? Read broadly, look into why the government sucks so much, understand where people like me come from, why the Tea Party movement was so big, why protectionist policies and things like this are such a big deal, and why big government is such a problem. We need to stop being so global minded and stop involving ourselves in all these wars and all this stuff. But more importantly, like, I said, politics are local. This is a known truism. Your local sheriff, your mayor, your principal of your local high school matters more in the grand scheme of things of your life than the federal government should. It's getting out of hand. That's one of the reasons why, I'm more on the right now, is because I see how much it's gotten out of hand and how much it's getting out of hand. And we just need a balance. We need a balance, guys. We need liberals. We do. We need conservatives. We need people to say, I would like this thing, and these people say, I would like this thing. How do we make this marriage happen? Because, that's marriage, right? I'm this way, I'm this person, I'm this way, and I'm this person. How do I make this work? How can we make this work? Because I want to. The end goal, raising children in the marriage, but raising a healthy society, from a macro level for government, that's the goal. And the only way we get to be a healthy society is if people, they just unplug a bit, These guys on the news, 90% of the time they're lying to you. These late night talk show hosts who are just like throwing their best, not even theirs, their 9 writers' best tweets at you so you can laugh and be like, the other team's so dumb. It's just stop. Like, just stop. Like, we don't need to do this. And I'm ranting. I'm letting this video go on so long. Thank you for listening. Have a drink, tonight. Talk to somebody you love. Open your mind a little bit more to other people and stop this. Trump's more than likely going to be our next president if, as long as they, don't order the Amazon.com assassin, everything should be okay. But, if he becomes president, it's going to be fine. Everything will be fine. I promise. The vast majority of things won't change. We still have a checks and balance system, hopefully. We're letting executive power run away, but I digress. Your life's going to be fine. It's going to be he'll get 4 more years and he's done. That's it. Even me, I support him. If he said, I think we should do maybe 3 terms, no, then you're not getting my vote. Like, that's how most people are, sensical. So try to be sensical yourself. Try to be fair. Try to be empathetic. Give grace where you can. And just be cool to each other. So, cheers.